Hey, this is Debbie Hodge from GetAScrap.com, and I've got ideas for making scrapbook pages on which setting is key and doing some really great, strong visual storytelling on those pages. Some photos and scrapbook page stories really are all about place, and when setting's key to your story, I suggest you extend it from the photos out onto the canvas with these scrapbook ideas. Here's a page by Vicki Hibbins called Beach Fun. Vicki says, "This layout shows my husband and daughter playing on the beach together this summer. I chalked the sky and used strips of torn paper and mulberry paper to create the sea." So can you see what she's talking about? On this canvas, she's created a sky, the sea, and the beach by using torn paper. She said, "I also used scraps of cardstock to make pebbles. I wanted to create a generic beach to represent setting rather than make an exact copy." Notice how she's layered her photo over her torn paper background to sort of line the beach, the waves, and the sky up. Here's a page by Christy T. She says, "As part of teaching our children about the history of Anzac Day, we visited the Princess Royal Military Fortress up Mount Clarence in Albany and spent time exploring the equipment and the museum buildings. The view from Mount Clarence is beautiful. I photographed it whilst we were up there. I used the photo for guidance and sketched a landscape using watercolor pencils. I then added water, additional color with gelatos, and white paint to create a scene." So you can see here, she's created the scene. She doesn't have that shown in her photos, but she's put her detailed photos up against this scene that she rendered with her pencils and paint. Christy T says, "Using pencils gives more control over the final look, and it's important to remember your scene doesn't have to be perfect to help effectively tell your story." Here's a digital page by Andrea. She says, "This page is about the long road trip we took to Tennessee to see the Smoky Mountains. To include setting on this page, I added shapes of all the states we traveled through to get there. The arrows show the direction we traveled, and the wire letters mimic a road. To complete the layout, I added blended and framed photos from our trip." So you can see there's those shapes from the states layered up on the left corner, blended in with larger photos, and then smaller frame photos are on top of it. Here's a page from Suzanne Brower that doesn't show a geographic location, but rather shows a location or setting within the home. Suzanne said, "I've had a hope chest since I was 20 years old. Over the years, it's been filled with mementos of my life, and it's a reminder of how blessed I have been." Suzanne incorporated setting with attic-themed paper that shows a collection of the items she's gathered over the years. She says, "I placed the photo of my hope chest in amongst the suitcases, ladders, and coat racks, and I added lots and lots of embellishments to create the feel of things having collected over time. The pull-out tag at the top lists the contents of my hope chest." Isn't this pretty? She's got the ladder, the coat hanger, the pile of suitcases. So while the other pages we've seen have been rendering scenes, outdoor scenes, rather on Suzanne's, she's used little embellishments to create an indoor world with all its little bits around her photo. Amy Kingsford's page here is digital, and she says, "This fire leaf in the photo was a gift from my youngest son, who set out to find the biggest of all the leaves that had fallen from the tree at his aunt's house to give to me. The photo was taken on the car ride home in poor lighting conditions and with a black and white filter applied. My goal was to recapture the backdrop of the beautiful autumn day and the fallen leaves, through which he searched long and hard for this gift, so I used a fall color scheme, a variety of leaf brushes, and other fall embellishments, along with a few warm splashes of gold." So as you can see, Amy's approach is different from all the other ones that we've seen so far. Here's a page by Sean Fair. This shows her daughter at Universal Studios. She says, "The film sets at Universal Studios gave my daughter great posing opportunities. Here in this photo, she's sitting at the bus stop waiting to strike out on a new life, a perfect photo to illustrate a summer of transition for her." Sean says, "I made the most of the whole film set idea, first of all by editing the photos to get an old-style film look. Then, to create a sense of scripts piled on a desk, I layered old book papers and envelopes." Finally, we've got a page by Sue Althouse. She said, "This page is about leaving our favorite hangouts in Michigan when we moved to Ohio. I represented the setting in my design by cutting out the shape of Michigan with my silhouette and filling that shape with a collage of photos. This composition captures glimpses of familiar spots and groups them together in an interesting way." So there you go. The next time you've got a scrapbook page in which the store setting is really key to your story, in other words, the place where your story takes place is important, think about how you can extend that setting out onto your canvas to back up your photos, or how you can surround your photos with all the little pieces that create setting. This is from a blog article over at the getitscrapped.com blog. I'll provide a link to the specific article below. And please come over to the blog and check out all the ideas that we have at Get It Scrapped.